Thank you
Oh,
for coming on and doing this. Uh,
that's okay.
how have you recovered from swimming this morning? I know there was a bit of an emotional swimming, having me beat you in some 50s for the first time in a little while.
Oh, yeah, I got through it okay. I had you in the 25s, but it was the last 10 meters of every 50 you just motored past me.
Yeah. No, the 25s we're not going to talk about. So I thought we'd have a little chat today about obviously you had your first 10,000 win in the World Ocean Series the other week, and that was pretty amazing. One of the more exciting races I've watched, even though it was such torrential rain we could barely see you out the back. Um, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that, about obviously what it meant to you and what you think has led to the massive improvement you've had over the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, to be honest, that was some of the most like relentless surf we've raced in. And it was like awesome for the sport to be able to have those kind of conditions on display. Like, we don't get those kind of conditions very often on the northern beaches. So having like a bit of a shore break and a back bank was super exciting to race in. And for me personally, like to be able to be at the front of races now and be in contention for winning events is something I'm still not able to like grasp fully. And like I still don't think I've kind of like realized that I really won that kind of race. But honestly, like yeah, that was dream come true.
Yeah, as you should be stoked with it. I think you're going to have to start getting used to leading those races because I've backed you in Surf Fantasy every single week, except that weekend I picked you in the board, the swim, and the ski, and I went, I can't pick her in the iron as well because like if there's no way she's going to do all of those, and then you won the iron and then didn't do any of the other events because they all got cancelled. So I was a bit off that.
Yeah, sorry to
Um,
mess up your teams. I think I messed up your dad's team too by not doing the swim, but then it didn't really matter anyway because we couldn't race in it.
yeah, I hope you've got some hate messages because you've messed up people's surf fantasy teams. That's
Oopsies.
a number one goal with creating it is that people care enough to abuse people online, abuse the athletes online for messing up their teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And like being able to start conversations is like so exciting. It's just another thing for people to talk about on the beach.
Yeah, for sure. Watching that race from the beach, I feel like the deciding moment really happened in the ski leg. And the difference was just whilst it seemed all the other girls were punching into waves and resetting and then punching another one, you were punching and then making ground on every single wave. And it wasn't like you just suddenly got a break. If you look at the aerial footage, you were just slowly pulling away whilst everyone else seemed to be stuck. What do you feel has made the difference for you in just your surf skills and punching that waves? Because obviously Newport's not the best place in the world to train and surf.
No, yeah, definitely not. We don't get a lot of waves like that ever. I don't know. Honestly, it was kind of my attitude going through the break. Then was a lot like I don't know. I never played rugby, but like I assume when you're just trying to like make up a few like meters at a time, like honestly, like every bit of ground like that you're gaining really matters. So it was the kind of just making sure that I was taking a stroke immediately after going through the whitewater and just like trying to build momentum again. And obviously growing up, like being by the beach and surfing a lot and just being unafraid of those like mountains of whitewater and just knowing that it's probably scarier to hit it with less force. Like it's basic physics, hit it as hard as you can and hopefully you'll be the better for it. So I guess that was kind of my attitude going out then.
Yeah,
Just paddle really hard and pray.
it obviously worked. Yeah, it was so impressive to watch. I've like think I lost my voice that afternoon because I was screaming at you so loudly when you were coming in. You scared us with that slew on the way in, but you pulled it off.
Yeah, no, I was pretty lucky that by the time I slowed, I looked up and I'd made sure I had paddled back into a closer line for the finish than the other girls had. So I knew that hopefully if I held it somewhat close, I could dolphin dive my way to the shore and stand up first. And yeah, so that's kind of how it panned out.
Yeah, well, we were all so stoked for you. Um, then obviously a couple of weeks after that, was almost last weekend, a bit over a week ago, we had the
Yeah.
finale for the Shaw and Partners Iron Series, and I know that it didn't go how you wanted it, and I think we're all surprised that you didn't make it through to that final 12 because your consistency and performance over the last 12 months, I thought reflected you definitely being in that top
Thanks,
12. And
Charlie.
I'd backed you once you made that top 12 to go for a podium because there was swell again. Um, Talk to me a little bit about your reflection on upon that weekend.
Well, yeah, obviously it's like pretty frustrating and upsetting for me. And I can kind of put it down to like just letting kind of the pressures get to me and having a few things leading into it that kind of made my preparation unsteady. And I'm a bit of a creature of habit, and I've been pretty good at not letting things shake me. And then, but I think just, I know I've gotten a lot better at it, but I think just leading into such a big weekend and finally being at the front of races, it scared me a bit and I let it get to me more than I should have. So then I kind of, with a mix of that and some tricky conditions, I stumbled my way through Saturday's racing. But in reality, like I've had a lot of time to reflect and realize that it's my worst result this season, like my only bad day, I guess, of racing. And like if I put that in perspective, it just happened to be on a day I couldn't really afford to have it. But yeah, I know in myself that I had really consistent results. Like that was my most consistent Iron Series yet. So it's obviously pretty upsetting and disappointing to not make that final day, and especially to watch everyone, like my whole team, like the whole squad, be on that finals day. Other than Pippi and I, it was pretty hard to watch. But at the same time, like I know I've had a good season so far, and I've exceeded like the expectations I set myself at the start of the series, and obviously other people's expectations. A lot of people probably wouldn't have even thought I'd make it past the Newcastle weekend, having not raced the gold and coming back from injury. So like when I put it in perspective, I can be pretty happy with it, but at the moment it still obviously hurts a bit.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, you say it was like the worst day of your season, and you were still so close. And realistically, also, it was actually just one bad race. It took not getting out on the ski once to mess up an entire series. So I think it's hard to be too down on yourself. I think it's more of a reflection of the fickle nature of the sport.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. It's a brutal sport, and and the format like doesn't lend itself to the brutal nature of the sport, and that's why it's exciting, and that's why people stay
so
involved watching it and everything.
yeah. And the reason I was cracking up when you said that you're getting better at dealing with people messing with your routine is last year when I was handling for you, I didn't know that you cared that much about your routine, and me and Kyan did quite a lot to try and mess with that in the lead up to
Yeah, you did.
the Saturday again, which you obviously did qualify through and made an auto qualify spot last year. But I'm pretty sure we made you cry the day before that race.
Oh yeah, I was in tears. Yeah, you guys played a bit of a prank on me, and I didn't take it very as funny as you thought it would be. I took it a bit
Yeah,
more seriously.
yeah. I won't even go into the detail because it's so embarrassing for all of
Yeah,
us.
no, it'll make me cry again.
It was very funny upon reflection, not in not at the moment.
No, not in the moment. And you guys didn't realize I was crying for real. You thought it was part of the joke.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Apologies again for that. All right.
It's
I was
okay.
wondering if we could quickly go through your team selections this week. Obviously, we have,
Yeah,
as you just know,
absolutely.
a double round, so you have to pick two
Mm,
teams, and it looks like the conditions are going to be a bit crazy. Every day I've checked this forecast, it's changed, but one of the days was
mm.
saying like 50 knot winds from the side and like 10 foot of swell, so should be a fun one. Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Yeah, for sure. Do. How do I do that?
All right, let's go through your picks.
Yep, sure thing. Okay. Well, my thinking for Friday was people who were either coming off of confidence, like confidence versus redemption. So those who are like in form versus those who like are coming back from the Iron Series, obviously. So in the men's iron, I've given Joel Piper my tier A pick. I think he didn't have as much have an iron the fine. He didn't have the finish to the Iron Series he wanted, and both him and I were in the same position. And I think that Joel could really like show us his abilities in on Friday racing. So
Yeah,
that's my A iron pick.
he had that year last year where it just felt like every single race was perfect for him. Like he just nailed it every time. I think he podiumed to Aussies. He got second in the series.
Yeah,
So he'll be one
absolutely. And
to
he's
prove
podiumed
himself.
in the Shannon before. I think he got second to Zach on a Friday shootout one a few years ago. So he's got history at Northcliffe. So yeah, that's my selection for the tier A. And then tier B, I've gone with Connor. mainly just because he's always such a confidence player, and coming off of the Iron Series, I think he's going to work to stay ahead of the point score on the overall series for the Iron in the World Ocean Series. And then I've gone for Borgie in Tier C because he's just Borgie. He's been so consistent this year, and I think he deserves a podium. So
Yeah, he was very
yeah,
frustrated last year because he decided to put all his focus into irons and he wasn't doing all the individuals, and it didn't really
yeah,
work out for him. And this year, he just proved that the more work he's doing, the better he goes because he's been so consistent and is
yeah,
obviously in the
absolutely.
unlosable position in the MVP. And
Mm. And I think that's pretty cool.
he's in one of the best positions for the iron. He didn't
Hmm.
do Mermaid, he didn't do Maroochydore, but yeah, he's one of the only people I reckon that can catch Connor.
Yeah, no, no, I absolutely agree. And I think that, yeah, on the Friday, it's going to be people coming straight out of the gate and just really trying to bank points leading into Saturday. So I think that'll be a good opportunity for them. Do we want to go into the women now or into the other disciplines?
Dealer's choice, kid.
Let's stick with the iron. Let's go to the women. All right. So similarly, I've put Lana as my tier A pick. I am saving
What?
my picking myself. I'm saving picking myself for the big day. I'm saving picking myself for the big day. Don't worry.
All right, you don't care
I'm
about the
just,
Friday.
I do care about the Friday, but like if I could pick one to win. Anyways, so I picked Lana mainly because I understand, like, I obviously don't know personally, but I reckon if I was in her shoes, it would have been pretty hard for me to watch the rest of the Iron Series, especially the final weekend. So I reckon just straight out the gate, she likes to prove that she's still right at the top of the game. So I reckon, so she's my pick for number one in the Iron in the women's. Um, then I've gone with the Lizard, Lizzie, in our tier B pick, just because she's pretty consistent all around. Like she's at the top. Sorry, my brain's not working anymore. And then obviously, like on Friday, it's going to be a little bit, there's less swell and it's not as hectic as Saturday. And I think the tide's a little bit higher, so that I think that could work really well for Liz. And then in tier C, I've gone for Lucy, mainly just because I think she's been the most consistent Iron Woman across the board this season. And um, on any day, she's like guaranteed to place in the top six or so. So
Yeah, it's actually quite
that's the
amazing.
reasoning for my picks.
She's sitting back in 12th. The girls is very
Yeah,
interesting
absolutely.
in that, like, everyone what we can see all the way down to Katie in 16th. Her average position
Mm.
is still 13th. Like, you're all the top girls in the top five are averaging basically top seven in every race. So there's so much consistency up the top, up the front of the girls racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to the board. Let's go into the men's. Um, yeah, I've just picked Zach in tier A. I think everyone knows he's one of the fastest off of the beach and up the sand. So, and I think he hasn't quite had the board results we've seen in the past years. So, and I think obviously on a home beach, that'll lend itself to him. And then I've gone Kai Taylor in tier B. He had an awesome finish to an Iron Series. So I think running off a bit of confidence, his board paddling's shown he's up the top end. And then I've gone with you, obviously, in tier C. I think that's a bit of a no-brainer. In any conditions, you're always at the front of races and really like deserving of a win. So
Thanks, kid. My goal for this weekend is to
that's all
not
right.
stuff up my start in the final for the first time this season.
You're pretty good at starts at training. I don't know. So maybe just wasting them on training and you need to throw a proper one in.
Yeah.
All right. In the women's, I've gone with a bit of a sure thing here. Like you can't count on much, but you can count on Hannah Scully on Northcliffe Beach. So I reckon she'll be gunning for her, what is it, her fifth board title, overall title? Is
It'll be something
that right?
stupid like that. Yeah. She's
Yeah,
won
something
so
like that.
many.
And especially when it comes to Northcliffe, like, I don't know, she's just got something special on that sand. So,
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
yeah,
Like, Tiani's had such a dominant season on the board this year. Average is 3.2,
yeah.
but Hannah's is still 4. Like, even
Mm.
though I feel like it's been an off year for Hannah, she's still right up there.
Yeah, and she's always nice to say that she's tipping me in something. So I reckon I had to give her a shout this time. And then I've gone with Lizzie in Tier B. Lizzie, I've been training with Lizzie for years now, and I still can't quite work out where she finds the extra gear from. Every time we round the last can, she ticks into another level, and I'm still yet to figure out how to beat her on the way home. So, like, I think she's just shown dominance year after year, and yeah, especially in any kind of conditions, bit of wind, bit of runners. Yeah, so that's my Tier B pick. And then in Tier C, I've given Brody a shout. I've picked her almost every Surf Fantasy round so far, and she's a good friend of mine. And I think she just needs to stop packing bikinis with her when she goes away, because she packs a bikini and then ends up sitting out finals. So Brody, switch on and win a race, please. Like,
Yeah,
everyone knows you're the fastest to the water, so just hold the rest of the race.
yeah. Too much vlogging, too much bikinis, more switching
Yeah,
up as well.
absolutely. She's packing for some leisure, but
Yeah.
no,
Only
no
person ever
bikinis
seen
this
to
weekend, Brody.
only board person ever seen to drop their board at the start with no interference.
Oh, I know. Yeah, she's a bit of a kook, but we love her. So,
Yeah.
anyways, and onto the ski. I've who did I? Where'd they go? Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry. I've gone with a Newport duo for Tier A and Tier B. I reckon. I don't know. I feel like there's not a lot of men's ski paddlers entered up the top end of the field, and Jake and Max are two pretty consistent players over the years, and the big boys come out to play at the end of the season, so hopefully they're switched on. And then in Tier C, I've given Piran my shout. Flying all the way over from the UK is like something a lot of people wouldn't be committed enough to do, and hopefully it pays off for him. Like, I think that'd be really exciting if he could win the overall ski series as well. And I think doing well on Friday would help itself to that, obviously. So
I
I've
think
given
he's one
Piran
of
my
those.
shout.
I think he's one of those people that everyone would be stoked if Perrin got a result. He's such a good bloke and he's putting so much commitment into
Yeah.
the sport from the other side of the planet. So good on him. He deserves one.
Yeah, absolutely. He's one of those people that I don't think anyone would be sad about if he did well in a race or won a race. So yeah. Then in the women's field, I've stuck with some really consistent paddlers this season. So Piper is one of the fastest raters and paddlers, like in any kind of conditions. She's been super consistent this year, and I figured I'd give my club mate a bit of a shout. She's paddling a ski really well, so I think that's pretty deserving. And
Gemma
then
not racing this
Emily
weekend.
Doyle.
Sorry, I only just noticed you
Yeah,
didn't
no,
drink it.
no, that's okay. Gemma's out at the kayaking at Penrith, I'm pretty sure. So
Oh no, damn. Well, yeah,
yeah,
good pick
she's
on
not
Piper.
racing. Yeah. And then I picked Emily in TB. Em's been like, this is probably Em's best season yet, and I think that racing so well in the Iron Series the other week was just like another confidence booster that she needed. Like, she knows she's good enough to be winning races, so it'd be cool to see if she'd get another good ski result under her belt as well, and
It
that
was
would help
quite,
her win the overall.
it was quite a shock to see her paddling a board away from Tiani and Lucy out the back
Yeah,
at the end of that
absolutely.
iron. It was pretty incredible effort.
Yeah, and I think that kind of just goes to show, like, when you're at the front of races, like, you can either shit the bed, or you can really like take it and run with it. And she took it and ran with it and really put herself in the position to do as best as she possibly could. And then unfortunately had a bit of a stumble getting on off the board. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Just that's a warning. This is a PG podcast.
Oh, apologies.
I'm just
You
joking.
can bleep me. I'm surprised I haven't sworn yet.
Yeah, you've done so
I'm
well.
pretty bad.
Yeah, you swore at me a lot this
Um, and then I've given Carla my C tier pick. I think regardless of conditions, she's obviously a great competitor in a bit of surf. But I remember last year at the Shannon, she did really well on both days. I think we each podiumed in the board on the Friday, and like the ski on the Saturday, or vice versa. Like, I think she's just really good at the back end of the season, and this year she's shown that the whole way through the year. So I think she could have a good weekend on the ski.
Brilliant. Last ones, swims.
Swim. Yes, swims. Well, at least the last one's for Friday. Oh,
Oh yeah, goodness.
and yeah, shit, we gotta go. Sorry, we've got to go through this all again. Um, I've given Dan Collins my tier A pick in the swim. I think Dan's the nicest guy on the beach, and I know nice people don't always get what they deserve, but I think Dan could swim really well this weekend. Then I've given CJ my tier B pick. He's shown that, like, in any condition, he can be winning races. So I think that is very deserving of that. And then I've given Nick Middleton my tier C pick. I think regardless of where he comes out of the water, or like regardless of where he is around the cans, he's always like fighting for every position. And I think that can really be game changing in overall point scores and also in my surf fantasy. So yeah, there's my reasonings.
Okay.
In the women, I've given Sarah my tier A pick. She hasn't rate. Oh, maybe she's Manly, but she hasn't had a lot of time on as a Newport cap this season, and I can't wait to see her little ballerina tiptoeing as she wades out. She's very graceful as she does it, but I'm excited to watch her race, and I think she's one of the best swimmers in the women's field at the moment.
Yeah,
And
she had a tough
then,
one at the start of the season when she got concussed at Newport training.
oh yeah,
So she had a
Jimmy
bit of
Doyle
time
gave
in the
her a
pool.
fin to the head.
Yeah. But
So,
she's had some time back in the pool now with a new squad actually training with us and flogging us. So it'd be cool to see her
oh
race
yeah,
again.
every session. It's a little bit demoralizing, but she's just that good, so
Yeah,
we can't really complain.
I start bragging when I'm within 15 seconds of her in a 200.
Yeah, the other week for our descend times, her slowest time was still faster than my fastest time in these 200s. So I had to kind of just pretend I didn't hear that. But anyways, I've given Katie a shout in the swim for tier B. I think by doing so well across the board this season and going in every race, I think she's a bit of a sure thing in the swim. It's really helped her as an athlete develop. Like, I think that's the best thing for younger athletes is to go out for those MVPs. You always see, like, Piper won it a few years ago. I won it last year. It's like the ones of us who aren't quite winning races exactly yet, but just trying to go in as many things as we can and average out the best result. So I think that's really helped her improve. And then I've given Pippi my tier C pick. She she's just an absolute fish in the water and scares me a bit at training every now and then. So I think that she'll do great on the weekend.
Good picks. All right, that's your Friday
Yeah.
team. So for the Saturday, maybe you could just look at
Yes.
it like this and explain the differences in your choices. Maybe don't go in and edit it.
Yes. Sure thing.
Just explain
Yeah, they're all here.
the differences between your Saturday and Friday and what your reasoning is.
Yeah, okay. On Friday, I took into account that I'm hoping the surf's a little bit bigger. I think the wind's supposed to be hectic, but at the same time, I've also thought about what I would like to happen. So I've given Ali my TA pick in the iron. I really want him to have that fairy tale finish. We saw it for Pooley and we saw it for G last year. And I think if anyone has got that special thing about them, it's Ali. So hopefully he can get that extra send off. He's already got the Iron Series, so a World Ocean Series would be pretty awesome too. And
Yeah.
then I've given you my tier C pick because everyone knows that you love a bit of surf and you're the smiliest person on the beach when there's a wave on. So
Loves a body
hopefully,
wave.
yeah, you love a body wave. So hopefully it's like swimboard ski or something. You can just get a body wave away from everyone and just show everyone what you've got on the board leg.
Yeah, thank you.
It's okay. Always got your back. And then I don't really know what else to say. I think my picks kind of speak for themselves. They're pretty typical of surf conditions and consistency. So
Yeah, the
yeah,
things I've
hopefully,
noticed is you put Jackson Borg back in the ski. He's still going for that
yes, I
MVP,
have.
so you hope he'll
Yeah,
perform.
absolutely. And I think on, like, Saturday's obviously everyone's last chance to scrap together those points. And Borgie's one of those guys that digs deep when it matters. So I think that if he knows he really, say he doesn't quite get the results he needs on Friday, everyone knows that he's going to turn up on Saturday and, like, tenfold his effort. So
Totally.
yeah, I think that's a good reasoning for why.
The other one's
If we head into the
Cruz.
women,
You've got
oh,
Cruz
oh
as
yeah,
well.
Cruz. Yeah, absolutely. Like, he's a bit of a he's like the ultimate kind of waterman when it comes to surf. He knows exactly the right line, and he's a very confident cat. So I think in a bit of surf, yeah, he's like, if he's within inch of it, so he'll be pretty close. So
Perfect. All right, let's check out the chicks.
yeah, yeah. In the ladies, I have given myself a tip in the iron, board, and ski
Yeah,
because
Kib.
if no one else, you got to back yourself, I guess, and that's not something I've always been really good at. And
Look, you'll win the
Kyan
swim
and my
now.
parents.
You're gonna win the
Oh, I
swim
don't
now
know.
and do poorly in the other ones if it means you're on my team.
Yeah, and well, Kyan and my parents have been very like, no, like you got to pick yourself, like you got to back yourself. So, um, we're going with that today. Anyways, hopefully it doesn't come back to bite me in the bum. But nah, I think it'll be exciting. I don't really have any previous results at the Shannon and Iron. Been in them, but never quite been near it. So hopefully I can put it together for once, and hopefully there's a bit of surf. I don't want just wind. I want a little bit of waves, and yeah, I think that would be a nice way to round out the World Ocean Series.
Yeah.
And then in the iron, and in the swim, I've also picked Lily O'Sullivan a couple of times because Lily and I have been racing together. Like we're in the same age group growing up, and she's always been the one to beat. And I think that her surf skills are next to none. Like she's absolutely brilliant across the legs, and I think that could pay dividends on Saturday. Um, yeah, any questions?
No, that looks like another good team. It's yeah, it's tricky choosing a difference between Friday and Saturday. I think it's unique that we're going to have such dramatic changes in the conditions based on the last forecast I looked. So you can actually change up your
Yeah,
team a little bit.
absolutely.
Otherwise, either you can go the other strategy of just doubling down on who you think's performing the best at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, Kib.